Hi, these comments are for RB. This is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com, and I'm getting ready to listen to a practice test that you. And I am from BetterTOEFLScores.com, and it looks like you're doing integrated speaking, I think, right? Let's take a look at your email here. So you say, "Hi Michael, please comment and grade my recording for an integrated speaking question. Again, thank you for your feedback." You're welcome, and you'd be surprised how many students, they never get any feedback at all on any TOEFL or speaking practice. They take the TOEFL blindly. They have no idea what their skills are, and they end up taking the test over and over and over and over. It's just terrible for people to go that route, but there's nothing I can do about it. But if any of you guys are watching this video, you don't have to take the TOEFL over and over and over. It's too expensive. It's humiliating. It demotivates you. Come by and talk to me, right? If you guys have any questions, you can come over to BetterTOEFLScores.com. I post my office hours there. If you got a problem and you're frustrated, come by. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's get started here, RB. So I'm listening to your practice test here. Okay, here we go.
This lecture explores two changes that occurred after.
Two changes. Don't forget, sometimes with the plural S, you need to create an additional syllable when you put that word at the end of the sentence, or at the end of the word, so we know it's past tense. We have change, changes.
Machines began to be used for manufacturing goods.
Okay.
To begin with, the center of production moved from home to the factory. For instance, the steam power machine was much more efficient than human power, but those machines only performed at the factory, which made the production activities shifted from household to factories. Next, let's investigate another effect about urbanization. This can be seen in the example of those villages with factories. At first, some factories were set up as villages, and they would employ workers. So when people concentrate at the village became larger and larger, and finally it became into a city. So these were the interesting details about.
And finally, maybe it turned into a city, or finally it became a city.
The outcome of Industrial Revolution.
Okay, so if I look over at the rubrics, I'm thinking probably 23 to 25 points. I think you'll be just a little short of getting 26 on this one. You had some problems with either delivery and language use. Let's listen to it one more time.
This lecture explores two changes.
This lecture what?
This lecture explores two.
Sounds like you're saying this lecture express, right? So I think you're having some problems with grammatical word endings. You have at least two problems in this response. You want to say expresses and changes. But your problem is you might not even know when to create that additional syllable. So there are some phonological rules that you can learn and get used to. So go to the pronunciation part of my course. Check out the lessons. It's called Syllable Division and Grammatical Word Endings.
Changes that occurred after machines began to be used for manufacturing goods.
Okay.
To begin with, the center of production moved from home to the factory.
Okay, the center of production, let's look at your language use here.
Machines began to be used for manufacturing goods.
So as you get into the response, you get comfortable. You start getting more comfortable. The more comfortable you get, the better your delivery is. I like that.
To begin with, the center of production moved from home to the factory.
The center of production was moved from home to the factory.
For instance, the steam power machine was much more efficient than human power.
Efficient.
But those machines only performed at the factory, which made the production activities shifted from household to factories.
Okay, I got to check your language use here one more time.
The center of production moved from home to the factory. For instance, the steam power machine was much more efficient than human power, But those machines only performed at the factory, which made the production activities shift
which made
from household to factories.
those shift from. It made those things to shift or shift from the home to the factory.
Next, let's investigate another effect.
Okay, so I think you need to study gerunds and infinitives and get a little bit better control over that language use based on 25 to 29 seconds in your response. Go to the grammar part of my course and study gerunds and infinitives.
About urbanization. This can be seen in the example of those villages with factories.
Okay.
At first, some factories were set up as villages and they would employ workers. So when people concentrate
Yeah, I'm not understanding 100% what you're saying.
at the village became larger and larger, and finally it became into a city. So this was
And finally, it became a city or it turned into a city. You're kind of mixing those two verbs together. The phrasal verb is to turn into or to become. So you're kind of confusing those two words.
the interesting details about the outcome of Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, right. Okay, I got to go lower on this one. I'm going to be honest with you. The more I listen to it, the more problems I find with language use. So I'm going to put you on this one. I'm going to say 22 to 24 points out of 30 on this practice test. All right, thanks.